Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Construction in Kenya. My name is Edward J. Makalo. So in this week's episode, it's quite special because I'm joined by a guest all the way from Bournemouth, England, UK. Her name is Jennifer Lemen. She's a chartered surveyor. She's going to talk to us on how to become a chartered surveyor.
Hi Edward, thanks for speaking with me today. I'm really well, thank you. Had a really nice weekend, and I think in the UK we might have had the last bit of the summer sunshine, so we've all been enjoying that. I'm based in Bournemouth, which is really near to the beach, so on Friday evening we enjoyed some fish and chips down there.
So first, before I let you introduce yourself, we're going to test how good your Swahili is. So, habari yako, Jennifer?
Mazuri sana, Edward. And it's brilliant to meet you and learn a little bit of Swahili.
That was really good, Jennifer. I never expected that. I'm sure that if you were not born in England, then you would be a Kenyan. Very sure. Anyway, let's step ahead. So who is Jennifer?
Thanks, Edward. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my professional journey and what that led to today. So I'm a chartered surveyor and I run, with my business partner Rachel, two businesses. So one is an RICS regulated surveying firm called Project. In that we provide lease consultancy, agency consultancy services for owners and occupiers of commercial property. Our other business is called Property Elite, and in that we provide training and support for APC, ASSOT RICS, FRICS candidates as well as students. On a daily basis, I might be mentoring candidates one-to-one, I might be giving presentations to corporate clients, I might be reviewing documents, I might be preparing question packs. So my daily work is really, really varied. So originally, I didn't intend to become a chartered surveyor. I went and did a degree course at university, which was in sports science at the University of Bath, and I dropped out after a year and a half. And for me, I just didn't see the career path it was taking me to. So I sat down and thought about what I wanted to do. My dad and granddad were both surveyors, so I'd grown up seeing surveyors. I knew what they did. It looked interesting. They met people, they travelled. And I love buildings, so I went on to find a part-time surveying course at the University of the West of England, which eventually I finished completely by distance learning. And I wrote about 1,700 letters to surveying firms near Bristol, where I lived at the time. From all of those, I got a couple of interviews and one job. And I worked for a self-employed chartered surveyor doing property management, mainly, and agency for commercial properties. After a few years, I moved on to a role doing lease consultancy for a large corporate. And then after that, I got qualified as a chartered surveyor, MRICS. I moved to do some lecturing at UE, and I've worked for a number of other UK universities before we set up our own businesses. Since then, I've become an accredited mediator. I've become a fellow of the RICS, and I also wrote my book.
Wow, what a great story of passion, hard work, and purpose. Congratulations on your new book, Jennifer. Tell us more about it and what inspired you to write it.
So, my new book, and thank you for the congratulations, is called How to Become a Chartered Surveyor. It's published by Routledge and it's available via our Property Elite website or via Amazon, really easy to find. So in the book, it's aimed at anybody who's a property professional or wants to become a chartered surveyor, or if you're supporting candidates becoming chartered surveyors. It tells you about the RICS, it tells you about surveying, it discusses all the APC, ASSOT RICS, FRICS qualifications, it gives loads of useful help and advice. It also talks about T-levels in the UK, it talks about apprenticeships, I talk about the roles that are involved with supporting candidates. I also look at professional ethics, I also look at other global qualifications. So essentially, if you're anything to do with property, it should be of interest. I was inspired to write it because I didn't think that there was one good source out there that explained what is a surveyor, how can you become one, and to give that advice all the way through the process from day one to becoming, let's say, FRICS and then supporting others. So I wanted to be able to give and distill my knowledge to as many people as I can across the globe.
Great. As we move along, so what is the RICS and what role does it play?
The RICS is essentially the global professional governing body for surveyors, and it plays a role in protecting the public, promoting the role of surveyors, regulating surveyors, and obviously it's a big organisation, and I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. Lots of members of the public will know what the RICS are, and many professional corporate clients will also know what it is, and they often want qualified or FRICS chartered surveyors to work for them.
For those who are following, the RICS is the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. So Jennifer, which professions does the RICS register?
The RICS regulates chartered surveyors. In the UK, there's a thing called a Royal Charter, and that essentially means that the term chartered surveyor is a protected title, so it's very, very special. You can only become a chartered surveyor, so having the letters M or FRICS, by undergoing the assessment of professional competence, the APC, and by doing that, the RICS say you're sufficiently knowledgeable, skilled and competent to act as a chartered surveyor. There's also the RICS qualification, which doesn't confer the title chartered surveyor, but it does allow you to be and act as a surveyor, but just not to use that chartered surveyor protected title. So the RICS regulates property professionals, construction professionals who fall within the remit of a surveyor.
So what are the statuses that the RICS provide and how the Kenyan surveyor is going to benefit from them?
The statuses in RICS, as I mentioned, are RICS, MRICS and FRICS. I think there's a massive benefit for Kenyan surveyors in looking at these qualifications. I've worked with lots of candidates in Africa, so including Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, South Africa, Mauritius, and being a member of the RICS at any of those levels is globally recognised. So you can show to your clients, to other surveyors, to the authorities, to anybody globally that you are of the required standard, and that is a really high standard of professionalism, of acting ethically, and of providing a high standard of service to your clients. So I think for Kenyan surveyors, it gives you that confidence and that pride of being of a required standard.
Great stuff. So Kenyan surveyors, the ball is on your court. So tell us, Jen, what is the registration process like?
So the registration process, I'll touch on RICS and MRICS. So RICS is a written submission, there's no interview. In comparison, the APC to become MRICS has a written submission and then an interview. If you are a Kenyan surveyor, then you need to enrol for either qualification online via the RICS website. You're assessed based on your experience in your country of practice. So in Kenya, you need to know about legislation, you need to know about how the property and construction industries work in Kenya, and you also need to know about RICS guidance. You don't need to travel, so all APC interviews are online via Microsoft Teams at the moment. So when you take your interview, you'll be at home or in your own office. So there's no travel, and you will be assessed by assessors who know Kenyan legislation and the Kenyan markets.
Awesome. So I know some surveyors are wondering, is there a global demand for an RICS chartered surveyor, and how Kenyans can be able to work abroad?
There is substantial global demand for RICS regulated chartered surveyors. And with that chartered surveyor status, so MRICS or FRICS, that gives you the opportunity to work anywhere in the world. And it's a globally recognised qualification. So you can take your qualification to the UK, and it is recognised whether you passed in Kenya, in Saudi Arabia, in the UK. MRICS is the gold standard, and it's recognised everywhere, irrespective of where you passed your assessment.
Great. So finally, do you have any words for the young aspiring professionals who are looking forward to obtaining that gold standard qualification?
My advice to aspiring young professionals would be, I'll give you 5 things. So I think firstly, reach out to other people, ask questions, seek support. Surveyors will, pretty much always be willing and happy to help. So just ask and take the guidance and mentorship of others. Obviously, plan ahead. So if you want to take your ASOT RICS, your APC, then plan ahead. Look at the deadlines, look at the timescales, look at the funding you'll need, look at how you can structure each week of your working life towards that qualification. And that moves on to my third point. So when you're looking at the APC and ASOT RICS, you have to choose a pathway, and that relates to your area of professional practice. And the really important thing is to make sure that your experience hits the competencies, so the specific technical and mandatory skills that you need for that pathway. And again, this relates to planning ahead, that if you know the experience and to what level you need it, you can plan ahead for the next year, for the next 2, 3, 4 years to hit those competencies to the right level. I'd also say that links to CPD, and that's a requirement for ASOT RICS and APC candidates, and then when you're a chartered surveyor. There's different minimum requirements, but CPD is essentially your continued professional development. So, how do you stay abreast of what's going on in the market, for legislation, for RICS guidance? How do you diligently and competently advise clients? So this then leads on to my 5th point, which is to be market aware. So, read a good newspaper, read a reputable news site, read the RICS journals, Modus, any market press that's relevant to your area of practice. And the more up to date and the more you have opinions of and know about your market, the better professional you will be. So at Property Elite, we provide every single candidate across the globe a free 15-minute consultation. You can head to our website, which is property-elite.co.uk to put that in. It's on the menu bar, it says free consultation. Or search for my name on LinkedIn, Jen Lemen, or on our website, and you can then email me any questions you have, and I'm more than happy to answer those. My email address is jen@property-elite.co.uk. There's also a chat box on the bottom right-hand corner of our website. Click on that and ask me a question, and that comes through directly to me, and I'd absolutely love to give you some guidance and support.
Thank you so much, Jen, for making time for this. I appreciate it big time.
Thank you very much for having me, Edward. It was brilliant to speak, and I hope to speak to you again soon. And I hope to hear from some of you listening to give you some tips and advice on how to become a chartered surveyor.